Hello?
Sinead.
Hi. Can you hang on just 1 minute?
No worries.
Thanks. I have to leave those there, right, so make sure Shani won't get them, but just in case. Hi, sorry, sorting out the children.
I got two on my own, so.
Oh, yeah, cool.
How are you managing tossing out a CD and doing some tour dates with 4 little ones?
It's tough, to be honest. I tend to generally try to work just between 9 and 2, when they're at school or whatever. And then when I'm touring, I really try to keep it so that I only tour every 2 years, but I only tour for maybe 6 months of any given year and just do 10 days out of each of those months. It's not easy at all. It's horrible in a way, do you know what I mean? Because if you're trying to get the balance right between kids and work, but you're so busy with either that you don't have time to have a bath, or I'm trying to schedule time with my boyfriend.
Right. How old is your oldest?
He's 20, girl of 11, a boy of 3, and a boy of 5 months.
Well, do you think, like your youngest, do you think your kids, your youngest, will ever know just, at one time, Bono's writing songs for you, and do you plan on letting him into that side of your life?
Well, in a way, I've always tried to keep my children away from it. I never wanted my children to feel different to any other kids. Having lived in England, I had the experience where, I think it happens in America too, where, National Enquirer be printing pictures of people's kids and that kind of thing. I don't like that phenomenon of kids being followed around the street. And
you, above all people, they haven't been too compassionate of your life over the past 10 years.
No, and that's all the more reason why I really fought very hard to keep my children away from all of that. And so they really, they know that I'm a singer and they know that I sing, but they come to the sound checks and they're bored.
Right, I hear
you know what I mean? And they get confused. They don't like coming to the shows. It kind of frightens them a bit because they just know me as their mom stomping around the house giving out because everything's dirty, do you know what I mean?
Right.
They don't know me on stage, if you know what I mean, and it frightens them that the audience seem to know me.
Right.
So no, I really always try to protect them and keep them away from it, so I don't talk to them much about it, but as you probably know from having kids yourself, anything you do, your kids think is completely uncool.
Right. Yeah.
So they're not really very interested. The big one now, the 20-year-old, would be a lot more knowledgeable, and he came on a few tours with me and that, and he would know enough about it to be quite proud of me, if you like, but still, to him, I'm just his old mum,
Right. You've been through some wars religiously.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know you've been through that war because just some of the things you write about, some of the things you sing about.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Where I would be coming from is that to me, God and religion are two different things.
Right.
And for me, and I'm not saying that I know any more than anyone else does, because I don't, so This is just my opinion. I feel that the difference between God and religion is the rules and regulations.
Right.
And that the rules and regulations have almost become like walls behind which God is in fact kept hostage by religion.
Right.
And those walls not only keep God in, but keep other people out. And that sometimes religion dictates to God when it can come out to love someone and when it must go back in and not love someone.
Right.
And I think that's blasphemous, actually. I think that it creates a situation where an awful lot of people have been turned off the idea of God and don't even want to think about the idea of God, because the model of God, which many religions propagate, is an off-putting one and an inaccurate one. Like if you look at the wars which are going on around the world, they're being conducted by a few people who claim to be representing particular theologies. It's blasphemous, I think, for various different religions to make God seem to be someone who loves conditionally.
Your relationship with God came about?
Where it came about for me very strongly was in my experience of being a battered child. That when you live with the devil, you find out very quickly that there is a God.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're driven to call out to it. In my experience as a young child, being in that kind of situation where I was driven to call out to it, meant that I found out very clearly and strongly that there is something which responded when I did call out to it. Mm. So, I had been taught such that there was a God, but I didn't know for sure until I found out, if you like.
Yeah. What would be the one thing you're most proud of?
The thing I'm most proud of, I would have to say, obviously, my children, you know, being a mom,
Right.
you know, who's able to financially provide for their children without having to depend on anyone else, whether it's a man or a government or anything, you know.
Right.
Being able to pay my bills and feed my children.
Real. Comfortable. JR. Afternoons on the Joy FM.